HarperCollins presents A Life of Crime, Memoirs of a High Court Judge by Harry Ognall. Read by Mike Grady. There are worse prisons than words. Carlos Ruiz Zafón, The Shadow of the Wind. Prologue. Chinese wisdom encourages us to take comfort that even a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But what if the journey is not one that lies ahead, but one of retrospect? Does that need less resolve, or more? My life in the law was filled with so much that enjoyed a high profile at the time, and which has left a legacy of continuing interest and sometimes fascination. That said, there is an obvious danger that, as a central actor in those dramas, my recall may now be corrupted by the erosion of the passing years, or my account may be tainted by the temptations of egotism, or the lure of the apocryphal. And so I have put off this moment for a very long time, until it has become very clear that I should either embark now or never. I must do my best to tell it as it really was. Chapter 1. Beginnings. What follows will be the odyssey of my life at the English criminal bar and as a Queen's Bench judge, recounted through the prism of some of the more memorable trials in which I was involved. But every narrative must have a beginning, and my early years seem to me to be as logical a starting place as any. Wholly to ignore the first 25 years of my life seems to me anyway to leave a void. However accidental my ultimate choice of career may seem to have been, perhaps within my early years is to be found the seed-bed out of which my future grew. I was born in 1934 in Salford, Lancashire, of middle-class Jewish parents. They were never more than easy-going in their orthodoxy, and, save in my early days at school during the war, my religion never featured as a significant or oppressive aspect of my life. I was named, curiously, Harry Henry, after my paternal grandfather, who had died 1 month earlier. I know very little about him. He was, by all accounts, a kind, modest and hard-working man. He lived with his wife Bessie in Rutherglen, Glasgow, and was a counsellor for the Gallowflat ward in what was then the separate town of Rutherglen, serving for 1 year as its provost or mayor. He made the improvement of educational facilities and standards his special interest. He ran a small business, selling smoking pipes and tobacco. My father, Leo, was the oldest of my grandfather's 3 sons and a daughter. He was born in 1908 and left school at 16. Thereafter, he worked first in Glasgow and then in Manchester, in a variety of generally mundane jobs, until the outbreak of the Second World War. For a short time, he was a cub journalist for a national newspaper, and achieved temporary fame by riding pillion on the wall of death at a visiting circus. He worked for some years for a very large mail-order company. That bred in him a deep-seated and lifelong aversion to working for anybody, save himself. He was adamant that both my young brother Michael and I should become professional men. Michael was to qualify as a doctor. At the outbreak of war in 1939, his extreme short sight meant he was excused military service. He spent the war years working as a supervisor at an ordnance factory near Leeds that produced military vehicles and ammunition. Providentially, he found his true niche in life in his middle years. He had always been an avid reader of detective fiction. I can remember a monthly magazine devoted to the genre, Black Mask, which was always in our house. With the end of the war, and with no obvious employment in prospect, he decided to give writing a go. It was a courageous decision. He had a wife and 3 children to support, and no guarantee of success. But against the odds, it worked. His first offering to Collins publishers was accepted. Thereafter, until his death in 1979, he wrote under 2 pseudonyms some 4 detective novels.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?